New warnings tonight. North Korea could be preparing what is called an electromagnetic pulse attack on the United States. 2 satellites already orbiting above America. According to Dr. Peter Vincent Pry, he's the executive director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security, warning a satellite with a nuclear payload could potentially just tear up, destroy the U.S. power grid. And joining us tonight is Dr. Pry. He is also the Chief of Staff of the Congressional EMP Commission. Dr. Pry, great to have you with us. This is, I think, for most Americans, a true revelation that the North Koreans actually have satellites that they've put into orbit that could be used as an EMP weapon.
Well, the EMP Commission has been trying to warn about this for some years, ever since 2012. Articles have been written, including by my colleague on the EMP Commission, Jim Woolsey, former CIA director.
Right.
And occasionally they get published in the Wall Street Journal, but most of the media has pretty much ignored this story.
Well, we have joined you now, and you have got our attention, I assure you. How realistic is this threat in your judgment? These 2 satellites, they are circumnavigating at low Earth orbit. I think many Americans would be surprised to learn that the North Koreans have that capacity.
Well, it's such a serious threat that we have recommended that these satellites be shot down because it's too great a risk to take. We don't know if they're nuclear armed, but if they are nuclear armed, just one of these satellites, if they've got a super EMP weapon in them, which we think the North Koreans have probably got, could destroy the U.S. electric grid, not just for a temporary blackout, but a blackout that could last months. We only have enough food to feed the American people for about 30 days. And the EMP Commission estimates that if a blackout lasted 1 year, an EMP attack could do that. It could cause a protracted blackout lasting more than a year. We could lose millions of people to starvation, disease, and societal collapse. An EMP attack is a high-tech means of killing people the old-fashioned way, through starvation, disease, and societal collapse.
Define super EMP weapon, for example.
That's a weapon of special design. It's designed to create an EMP. It's not designed to create a big explosion. Right. It puts out gamma rays, and so its yield can be very low, between 1 to 10 kilotons. And most of the North Korean nuclear weapons that have been tested have been in that yield range. Moreover, we were told by Russian generals, EMP experts, back in 2004, they demarched the EMP Commission to warn us that the design information for the Russian super EMP weapon had supposedly accidentally been transferred to North Korea, and that there were Russian scientists and Chinese scientists helping the North Koreans develop that weapon. And they even predicted that in a few years, this was back in 2004, mind you, the North Koreans would test one. And the first North Korean test was indeed just a few years later in 2006, and it had this very low yield that most people thought was a failure, but that's exactly what a super EMP weapon would look like. Low yield, but puts out a very strong gamma pulse.
Is our government, is our military prepared for against an EMP attack? I know for the most part, I would assume the civilian sectors of our economy and our nation are not. But at least our government and our military, are they prepared?
They're prepared for some kinds of EMP attack, from nuclear weapons of conventional design. But a super EMP weapon creates such extraordinarily powerful EMP fields that they would exceed the hardening requirements that we have generally followed for our military forces.